You are listening to One Happy Podcast, episode 57B. And this episode is brought to you by Jay's Car Rental Aruba.com. Now, as you all know, we rented our car from Jay's this time around, and that's been going pretty great. Some of you probably have never rented a car on the island of Aruba, but if you're not, then you're doing yourself a disservice, because us being able to rent that vehicle allows us the freedom to go wherever we want, whenever we want. Like right now, I'm at Palm Beach recording this, but it's kind of noisy here, so I think we're going to go over to Eagle, and that's not a problem because we have our own vehicle. In fact, the last episode we recorded was inside of that vehicle down at Baby Beach. And, you know, Baby Beach is pretty far away, so taking a taxi down there is expensive down and back. There's lots of great restaurants in the Savanetta area, which is down towards that way, and, you know, if you were to take taxis to, say, like Z-Rovers or Marina Parada or Flying Fishbone or something, I mean, it gets expensive. It gets to a point where renting a car is actually cheaper than taking taxis. So if price is a concern, then maybe you want to look into renting a vehicle. And if so, Jay's can help you out, so make sure you check them out over at Jay's Car Rental Aruba.com and tell them Aruba Kurt sent you. Bon dia, and welcome to One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. I'm your host, Curtis Robinson, a.k.a. Aruba Kurt.
And I'm his sidekick, Maggie.
That's my sidekick. And earlier today, we were at Palm Beach, but it was too noisy down there, so we decided to come up to Eagle, which is actually even noisier than Palm was.
Yeah, I think all the local kids are here enjoying their Sunday night.
Yes.
And we got,
What?
Police are here. They're going to make him turn off his music.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Oh, bummer. We were being serenaded.
Yes. Yeah, a guy has his doors open on his truck, and he has his music playing real loud, and now the police are going to make him tone it down. Oh, well. It was nice while it lasted, if you ask me. But anyway, so we're here on Eagle Beach recapping our last couple of days of vacation.
Yeah.
Now, when you last heard from us, we were down at Baby Beach.
Yeah, we were in the car and getting ready to hop out onto the beach.
Mm-hmm. Spent a great day down there. We were down there from, 10 in the morning until 3:30?
Might have been later than that,
later than that, 4 o'clock.
Oh, no, yeah, it was after 4 because we waited till after the bakery opened before we even left.
We'll get to that in a second. But as always, Baby Beach was spectacular.
Mm-hmm. We met a family there from Philadelphia.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. They were first-timers in Aruba.
A lot of Mid-Atlantic people down here this time of year.
Yeah. It might be equal to the amount of people from the New England states.
Absolutely.
Pretty crazy. Don't usually have that. But the people from Philadelphia, they were first-timers on the island, and they were staying down in the San Nicolas area. So they were asking questions about, other things to do in the other parts of Aruba.
Right. They stayed in the colony.
Yes.
Was what they told us.
Right.
They were the last house closest to the refinery.
Exactly.
They said it was beautiful. They had a lot of outdoor area.
Mm-hmm.
We should have stopped by and checked it out, but we never got a chance to.
Right. Plus, that might have been creepy. We met them on the beach, and then
Sandstorm.
every once in a while the wind's gusting up and we're getting sandblasted. That's part of the fun.
Absolutely.
And the scenery is obviously beautiful. So, they were asking for what to do in other parts of the island because they were wanting to take a couple day trips up to the high-rise area. They had made it up as far as Pencho's for dinner one night, but they hadn't seen any more of the island than that.
The next day they were doing the safari tour, so maybe they did get a chance to see more of the island.
Right. We actually saw some of those safari jeeps go past. We were looking for them, but they weren't on that particular tour.
Love meeting first-timers. Hopefully they'll be back again. They seem like they wanted to definitely come back.
Right, definitely. So after we left Baby at about 4 o'clock, we went up to the bakery.
Yeah.
What's
the name of the bakery?
I have no idea. I just know that it doesn't open until 4. They put the sign on, and then a bunch of people show up.
Yes, in Savanetta near...
the Flying Fishbone.
Yeah. Near the Flying Fishbone.
Right. Or if you know Debbie's place, Aruba Paradise Villas.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
If you know Debbie's place, Fortuna Villas. then it's right around the corner from there. So if you look up Fortuna Villas, then you're in the general area.
That's convenient. I don't know if I could ever stay at Debbie's because I'd be at the bakery every
Yeah,
day.
we'd probably gain like 20 pounds over the course of a
Just
week.
on Olympias.
Right, because it's walkable from there. Yeah. So we stopped past there. We picked up some Olympias and also a couple of pastries.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, I love the Olympias, but I'm not like in love with the pastries.
No, I'm not either. I'm not a huge donut pastry person back home either.
Right. It's like I have something to do with it.
Yeah, we tried them the last time we were down here, and we tried them this time. I think I'd prefer the Olympias.
Mm-hmm.
Should probably try some of their snacks.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that next time.
Yes. We'll go down early and we'll stock up. It's funny, I'm sitting here on the beach podcasting, and all these people are walking past looking like, hey, what's going on over there? They can come over and talk if they want. So what else did we do? Okay, after we left the bakery, then we went back to our place and we changed, got showered up and changed, because we were going to Ricardo's for dinner and then for the karaoke dance party.
Yeah, wait till you hear our story about Ricardo's.
Oh, here she goes. But anyway, so we get to Ricardo's. We had a late reservation, you know. We like to eat late. Actually, it's becoming more and more apparent to me that we like to eat super late. We just hate leaving the beach early.
Yeah. Rushes my day too much. I can't do that.
Right. So yeah, in the future we'll have to plan around that.
Everybody has different things they come to Aruba for. Mine is definitely the beaches. Everything else is great, but I gotta have my beach time.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I just come here to clear my mind. I don't care where I do it. But we went to Ricardo's, and the dinner was just okay. Didn't love it. Didn't hate it, didn't love it.
I was the same way. I had the chicken parmesan based on hearing a lot of people's recommendations. I figured I'd try it. I am a picky eater, and
Yes, you
I'm
are.
very opinionated. So I'll save that for our full recap. Suffice it to say, it definitely wasn't my favorite meal when I was down here.
No. Well, I mean, part of that was probably colored by the incident that
The
happened.
ambiance.
Right, which, I mean, the location is beautiful. However,
I'll let you tell this one.
when you look down towards the water and you see a guy peeing in the water, it kind of messes up the mood. So from then on, it's like you
Yeah.
start looking at things in a negative light. So,
Actually, I was just joking. I saw him standing down by the water in a stance that appeared to be, just that. So I said to you, I was like, look at that guy. He's peeing down at the water. And Kurt said, oh, my gosh, yeah, he is. And when he turned around, he zipped up his pants, and sure enough, that's what he had done.
Yep. Which, I mean, when you have a restaurant that straddles the water like that, people can come from anywhere and kind of become part of the ambiance. However, this guy was actually a patron from the restaurant. But, yeah, let's not dwell on that too much.
No, we won't.
We have
Anyway,
a whole recap we can get to about that in a later
did
date.
affect my attitude. The food wasn't horrible. It was just, a little overcooked and sauce out of a jar maybe. But let's
Yeah.
move on. So, anyway, we left Ricardo's, and where did we head later?
Well, okay, so we finished eating and we were going to go to the karaoke dance party. The only thing is, it seemed to be a little bit more dance party than karaoke, at least because it had just started.
Yeah, maybe we just didn't give it enough time.
Yeah, and plus we had just come back from Matthews the night before, where their karaoke was excellent. So we were just waiting for things to pick up from right where that left off, and it didn't happen fast enough to either of our liking. So we decided to just move on.
Mm-hmm.
So we went.
I think I had a little bit of attitude that night.
Right. Well, I mean,
based on my dining experience.
the pier messed things up.
So we left there and we headed back to Palm, right?
Right. So we went to the Hard Rock.
Mm-hmm.
There was a band playing. We had seen them the last time we were down there.
Yeah, he likes to sing Justin Bieber.
Yeah, the dude's not bad actually, but he's got this Bieber fixation.
Yeah.
He turned a 4-minute Justin Bieber song into like this 15 to 20-minute like opus. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. There's only so much you can take of Justin Bieber.
I mean,
before the song needs
I
to
like
end.
Bizzle a little bit. I don't have anything against the Biebs, but come on, man, really? 20
You were having a
minutes?
good time though. You were dancing.
Oh
I was
yeah. I put on a show for people.
watching a lot of kids learn how to segue.
Mhm.
That was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
How about the couple you took the picture of? That was my favorite part of the whole night.
Oh yeah. She was, one of those models. like an Instagram model or something.
An
I don't know.
Instagram model.
Yeah. So
Anyway, she and her, I guess, boyfriend were taking pictures, and they turned to you and they said, "Oh, take her picture, take her picture."
Right. And she was
But
serious about
she
her
was
picture
very
taking.
serious about her picture taking.
Mhm.
Posed, you know,
So she probably
made
should
the
have
right
handed
face.
the camera to me.
And Kurt walks up and say, "I love Aruba."
Yeah. There's a price to pay. I mean, because you want me to take your picture, so there's a price to pay.
It was really cute on your part.
You gotta have fun with it. I mean, I like to take pictures, but I'm not a professional photographer. And secondly, you're not paying me for it, so have fun with it. Don't be so serious.
The guy was okay.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was like,
I don't
"No,
think- I
you
don't
are
think she was
not
digging
breaking my
Right.
picture taking image here."
It was cool though. I had fun with it.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, but I mean, there was really nothing going on. The guy was in the minute 12 of his Justin Bieber thing, so it was time for us to
Yeah.
move on. We decided
Yeah, we
to
called it an early night that night.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't really that early.
No.
That's
Well,
probably-
for us, an early night
Yeah.
is
It's probably about
11 o'clock.
11:30.
Yeah.
So that's how we finished up
So,
our Thursday night.
How
Oh
did
no,
we
it's not how we finished up our Thursday night. We went to a taco truck.
Yeah, that's right, because I didn't have enough to eat
Right.
because I left my chicken parmesan behind.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, when all else fails, hit the taco truck.
Yes, you can't beat it.
I had nachos for the first time there.
Mm-hmm. So
Pollo. Pollo nachos.
right.
They were very
so
good.
I had the grouper tacos. And you had the chicken tacos.
Yes,
and
my
we had
favorite.
nachos. They were good. Everything's always good. They get it spicy. They like it when you get it spicy. And
Gotta have it spicy.
that's how we finished out the night. And then, so Friday morning, we planned on going to the animal shelter, but that didn't work out because the rain.
Oh, yeah, it was pouring rain.
Yeah. I woke up pretty early that morning, and we were just getting pelted by rain. It was like torrential downpour. So we decided to just switch up our plans instead of going to the animal shelter because we didn't know if the dogs would all be like soaked and everything. So
Yeah.
we decided to instead go grab breakfast
Wet
at Salt
dog
and
doesn't
Pepper.
smell very good.
Nah. So we decided to go to Salt and Pepper for breakfast instead. I love their breakfast.
Whose breakfast?
Salt and Pepper. Pay
I'm
attention.
sorry.
What the heck?
There's a lot going on around me. Love their
Jeez.
breakfast. French toast and home fries.
Yes.
I want to know what's on their home fries.
Yeah, I got their I got French toast, home fries, and sausage. I dug it all. The service is always good there. The waitresses are very friendly, waiters and waitresses, all very friendly. And then afterwards, we went to Arashi because the rain stopped and the day cleared up. We were going to go. We had to go to the ARF Pause for a Cause.
Yeah. Now,
event.
see, I loved going.
Mhm,
You know,
yeah,
it was
without
it was
doubt.
it was a great event, great cause. But once again, that interrupts my time at the beach.
Right.
And I was having a good time at Arashi. It turned
no,
out
it
to
was-
be
it
a
was an
gorgeous
incredible
day.
One of the probably the most beautiful days that I've ever seen down here.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to leave at about 3:30 to go get cleaned up. We spent as much time as we could in the water. It's funny. It's easy to get distracted down here. You got the
I
guys
know.
zooming back and forth on jet skis. The one guy likes to do like handstands and stand on his head as he's driving them. So if you hear pauses, it's because I'm checking that out. So we got cleaned up. Then we went out to the ARF Pause for a Cause benefit at Tierra del Sol restaurant.
Yeah, first time we've ever been up to the Tierra del Sol restaurant. I'd really like to go back again. It's beautiful environment.
We might be able to make that work. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. The turnout was pretty good. They had appetizers, free champagne, and lots of incredible prizes. Cheryl and the ladies from ARF really put together.
Yeah, they did a great job.
A great event.
Ray Ellen and some of the comedians were there.
Ray, Dan Natterman, and Brian Scott McFadden. They were there, so that was pretty cool. Ray emceed for a while. He announced a couple of the prizes.
Yeah,
And
but they
then-
had a show to do.
Right, so he had to leave, so I got drafted. No, it was an honor for Cheryl to ask me to do that. I'm not sure how good I was.
A little nervous.
Yeah, because, you're following somebody that does that for a living, basically.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
everybody was there having a good time, and everybody wanted to win, so they definitely,
Right.
you had their attention.
Right, yeah. It was a very positive environment. Not to mention everybody was drinking a little bit, so by the time Ray left and I took over people weren't really caring all that much.
Neither were you.
True, very true. Met some great people there that night. So that was a very cool opportunity to meet some new friends and see some old friends. Got a couple of big hugs from Cheryl. That was great. Didn't win any prizes, though.
That was rigged. She probably pulled your name 3 times and had to throw it back in.
The only thing is she wasn't pulling names.
I'm sticking with my story.
And I was announcing the names. Don't you think I would have saw that? Anyway, after the event, if we would have stayed at the restaurant, if you ordered Dutch mussels, $5 from every order, that was going towards ARF. But we already had reservations for Quinta del Carmen later on that night. So we went to Quinta del Carmen and had an incredible meal as always. That's my favorite restaurant on the island.
I just want to say one more thing about Pause for a Cause.
Wait, speaking of pause, I'm going to pause for a second while I drink some Balashi Chill. Go ahead, Maggie.
Speaking of Pause for a Cause and the ARF Foundation, they actually do a lot of great work on the island for the dogs and cats without homes. Really, if you can, I'd always put it out there. You know, you spend a lot of money, you come on these vacations, and we're lucky to be able to have the money and the time to be able to do these kind of things. But, you know, donate a little bit of your time or your money or, you know, even a bag of dog food or toys for the animals. Anything that you can do would definitely help and is much appreciated. And, you know, if you want to adopt an animal, which one of these days we're going to do, we just can't do it yet, definitely do that because they all need a forever home.
Yes. Well said. Very well said. So how did you enjoy?
Done your chill?
Almost. I got one more sip in there. So how was your dinner at Quinta del Carmen that night?
Delicious. I love Quinta del Carmen. Can't say enough.
Yeah, Wilmer. Wilmer was our waiter, who was our waiter the first time that we were there.
Definitely made a big impression on us the first time.
Right.
Definitely made a big impression on us the first time. So we were happy to have him back taking care of us again, and he did not
disappoint. Nah, he was fantastic, and so was Francie.
Yeah.
Who was helping him out.
Yeah.
And we also met the manager.
Yeah, that was
cool.
That was hysterical. The look on his face when you asked him to stop by and you needed to talk to him about something.
Sometimes I like to get a little mischievous. So what I do is I put on my serious face, my grown-up Kurt face. So I put on my grown-up Kurt face and I look at him. I say, I wave him over. Can I talk to you for a second? So he straightens up. You can tell he's nervous, which is cool, And he walks over, and that's whenever I say to him, "This is one of the best meals that I've ever had. Really, my compliments to the chef, your staff, and the restaurant."
You could hear him take that breath.
Right? Waiting to exhale.
And I cracked up because I've been in the same shoes he was in when you called him over. And that's always such a relief to hear people say that. You really need to let people know when they've done a good job because so many people always want to tell you what you've done wrong. To hear what you're doing right really does help.
Right.
And they definitely deserve those kudos.
And and the waiter got a kick out of it too.
Yeah, he did.
Because everybody likes to see their boss squirm a little bit. So yeah, we finished up at Quinta. It was a long meal.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, you don't dig that at all.
That's not for me.
That's long for me.
Quinta, and I know how it is down here in Aruba. They're not going to push you out except for certain restaurants that I hear of. But most places just want you to relax and take your time. And for me, when you hit the hour and a half mark, I really start to get antsy. And this was 2 hours because Kurt decided he had to have dessert even though he was stuffed.
Yeah, but it looked good. And
So how was the bread pudding?
It was okay.
It was hilarious because
everything else I had was phenomenal.
He had no choice but to eat the whole thing because he knew I was going to say something if he didn't. So he just kept shoving it in his mouth.
Yeah, by the end of it, I didn't want any of it. But, hey,
anyway,
I made my bed.
That was the end of our night. We didn't go anywhere after that.
No, we made it home just before the skies opened up and it started raining again.
Oh, that's right. It started to pour as we were getting out of the car.
Yeah, as soon as we pulled into the driveway.
Right.
And it started just dumping buckets on us as we ran into the house.
Yeah. So what did we do the next day?
The next day, which was Saturday, we went to the animal shelter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Always one of my favorite things to do down here.
They had lots of puppies and kittens. They had lots of puppies and kittens. Probably more kittens than I've ever seen down there.
Yeah, a lot more kittens than I've ever seen. And really, honestly, if I could adopt, I would have definitely adopted. And it would have been a toss-up between Apollo and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Grace
Two
meowed so much
beautiful
she had a
kittens.
rough voice, but I could listen to that voice forever.
She was very assertive.
Very assertive.
You
and
were going to pay
Apollo-
attention to
And
her.
Apollo was just the opposite of her.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when they got their food, they all went running to get the food, and Apollo kind of sat back and waited for everybody else to get their spot.
Right.
But the funny part is he ended up with a bowl all to himself.
The bowl was as big as he was.
So he might have been shy and timid, but he's a very smart kid.
Very smart. So we hung around there for about an hour. We met some of the volunteers.
Mhm.
Also met another visitor from Atlanta that comes down to Aruba a lot.
She and her daughter volunteer
At the
at
shelter.
the animal shelter.
Yep.
Yeah. So after that, we headed back out to Arashi, right?
Right. We went to Arashi, and the weather started to turn. Well, we stopped at Don Pestece on the way up.
Oh yeah, delicious.
Yeah, so check
and
that out if you
so
get a chance.
economical.
Right, we got way too much food. They were laughing at
They
the
were
amount
laughing at
that-
us with how
that
much
I
food we
ordered.
got. Oh,
But it was
definitely.
it cost like
Get
$12
the cheese
for
balls.
4 cheese balls, like 6 pistaches, and 2 drinks for like $12.
Cheese balls at Don Pistachio's. You gotta get them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check it out.
I think
So
I'll
yeah,
be
we
heading
went
back
to
before we leave.
Arashi, and the sky started to look pretty ominous. And sure enough, the skies opened up, started dumping buckets of rain on us. We figured, hey, we're already wet. Let's just stay in the water.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Although it started to get a little chilly being in the water with the rain.
And this was honestly probably the hardest rain that I've seen in Aruba, at least for a while there.
Well, I mean, there was hard rain overnight, but we weren't outside in it.
That's why I said that I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So looking down from Arashi, Palm Beach actually disappeared. You couldn't see it at all.
Remember I said they look like
Haunted houses.
haunted houses.
Yeah. But at one point it just disappeared completely. Like you couldn't even tell that
Right.
there was such thing as Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So
It was fun actually being out there in the rain
and it
water.
was, but it became too much after a while because it didn't seem like it was going to stop. So we decided to go to a Ruby and Taste rum shop, but we had to go home and shower up because we were all scuzzy from the
Yeah.
beach. So we went home, took quick showers, changed up, and sure enough, the sky started to look beautiful.
That's Aruba for you.
That's that wind kicking up again. So
Sandstorm.
the sky looked beautiful, so we decided, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw in swim trunks and things, well, bathing suits, and we're going to see what it looks like when we get over to Aruba and Taste. If it looks like it's going to be beautiful, then we'll just go to Eagle. If not, we'll go to Aruba and Taste.
Guess where we ended up?
Eagle Beach.
Yeah, still haven't done a Ruby and Taste, but I plan on doing it before we leave.
Definitely. So Eagle, once again, was beautiful. The day turned out to be absolutely gorgeous. That's what always happens. Whenever it starts to rain, by the end of the day, everything's just perfect.
Yeah. So we had a great day.
Mm-hmm, but we had to leave early once again because we had reservations
That's
at Terrazza Italiana.
I'm done with that. I am
Right.
done with making reservations early when I can spend my day on the beach. I don't want to leave the beach till like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Like, we were up on the terrace and the sunset was beautiful. But the thing is, if we were on the beach, we would have got the same sunset.
Right.
We
and
just wouldn't have
then
been
we
eating at that
could
sunset.
go to dinner later.
Right. So, yeah, from now on, that's the plan. Sunsets on the beach, then dinner afterwards.
Yeah. So La Terrazza, a fairly new restaurant. They said they.
Terrazza Italiana.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was I thinking?
I don't know. But I get it.
You can fix that.
Don't worry about it.
Um,
We're going without a net, man. It's going to go up as is.
Okay. So anyway, Terrazza Italiana was a fairly new restaurant. They said they opened last year in
Right,
October.
in October. Yeah. The owner, Mima, she was incredible. The staff was as well. Honestly,
Yes.
everyone was so nice. It's a small place. I didn't count the tables, but it's pretty small.
Yeah.
Everything's made from scratch.
Yeah, it's up on the top terrace at.
Paradise Beach Villas.
Yes.
Yep.
Actually, we can see it from where we're sitting right now.
Exactly. That's where we go on the beach.
Aren't
at
you guys
Palm
jealous
Beach.
listening to us thinking about the fact that we're sitting on Eagle Beach right now?
No, because our trip is going to be over soon, and someone listening's trip is just going to be beginning.
Why'd you have to say that?
It's the truth. I'm all about the truth.
You're such a bummer. Anyway.
I'm a realist. So yeah, the dinner was great.
Yeah.
Large portions, reasonably priced if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting top-notch food there. My only complaint was that after we were done eating, like for me, whenever I'm done eating, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You know?
And you asked for the check.
Right, I declined dessert and I asked for the check. But even after that, it was probably about 30 minutes until we actually were able to get paid and pay up and get out of there.
Right.
I didn't find out until afterwards that we could have actually just walked up to the checkout area.
Oh, we could have?
Yep, Cheryl told me that, but I didn't know at the time.
Darn
so
it.
I mean that negates the only complaint that I had about the place.
There you go.
Yep. So I wouldn't hesitate to go back there, depending on how some of the other Italian restaurants compare on the island, because we don't really eat Italian down here usually.
No.
So we do have to check out a
We
couple
have
of the other places.
an Italian place back home that we absolutely love, so it's really hard to compare Italian anywhere to that.
Right. And we do have some really good Italian places in our region.
So we left Terraza and
Went to
we
Boogaloo.
headed to Boogaloo.
Right.
One of our favorite
It's
spots.
karaoke. Honestly, it was a little empty.
It was kind of
It's
empty
low
in there.
season, though, so
yeah.
I get it. It was a little empty, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a
You
good
know?
time.
If you ask me, the performers of the night were the two children
Mm-hmm.
singing "Let It Go."
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, it was
You
very
did get a
cool.
video of that, I think.
Yes, at least part of it. Or I
Mhm.
think I broadcasted it live. I think. So we hung out there for a while.
Yeah.
Another complaint with the time it takes for you to pay. I flagged down the waitress who had
Oh,
disappeared for
yeah.
about 20 minutes before that.
Yeah.
I asked her, could she bring me another round of beers and the check?
The check.
So she did. Then she disappeared. So then I finally, after the beers are gone, it's probably
Once
about
again,
10,
it's one of
15
those.
minutes,
Yeah.
I finally flag her down and I hand her the check. And I'm thinking, yeah, we're good now. No, she puts it down on the table and then she
And
goes
walks away.
to dance
To
like
dance, yeah.
like the Cupid Shuffle or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm like, really? Really? You're just gonna put my bill down
We're
there?
happy, friendly people.
But come on.
But, you
There's
know,
limitation.
taking my check and then throwing it back down on my table.
Right. I would have
I'm not
preferred her
feeling
just
that.
say, hold on 1 second, please, or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
But at least she didn't hang on to it while she danced. So I just picked it up off the table, took it over to the bartenders, and paid over there. Yep.
So, I mean, it didn't hurt my good time. I had a really
No,
good time
no, no.
there.
I love
Always
Boogaloo.
enjoy Boogaloo.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Although Matthews is gaining on them.
Yeah, I'd definitely be heading back there again
Mhm.
next time we're down on a Wednesday night.
Right. For their
Matthews
karaoke.
karaoke. So that about
but,
wraps it up for last night, though, right?
No, once again, we ended up at the taco truck.
Oh, God, yeah. We did.
We always end up, well, we don't always, but we like to end up at the taco truck.
For nachos and tacos again.
Yes, it was fantastic as always. But maybe not the thing that you want to do when you're planning on climbing Hooiberg the next day, but that's for another episode of One Happy Podcast.
Absolutely.
So that's everything
Yeah.
for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday,
Yeah,
and we'll be
it's
back again soon.
Time
with
for us
the
to
rest
head
of the
down to the
vacation.
water.
Yep, and once again, this episode was brought to you by Jay's Car Rental Aruba, so check them out at jayscarrentalaruba.com.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.